Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Opcast, Opline's podcast, where we bring on awesome guests to talk about veteran hiring, veteran support for businesses, and just really bring on some great guests that can share their experiences about transition, how it may impact veterans and their company's support of veteran hiring, the big picture. Today, I have the honor and privilege to be here with a fellow UVA grad and Wahoo, Eric Ohlhausen, who I knew a little bit during my time at UVA, so it's a small world day. And great to have you on the show, Eric. Great to have you here today.
Glad to be here. Appreciate you being interested in.
Yeah, well, it's really a pleasure. It's always fun when you get to do these and be on with a friend, a longtime friend, not an old friend, a longtime friend. And share a little bit about, what you're doing these days. And again, the focus obviously of our program is to talk about veteran hiring and what companies are doing to support veteran hiring. But I'd love to go back into your background and just really kind of understand how you got to where you are with Old Glory Bank today. And what was your kind of, path to get into the banking industry? And again, I talk veteran transition a lot, but civilians transition too from college, go through a path. Everybody has their own journey. So I'd love to hear some of your journey to get where you are today.
Sure, happy to share it. And I think it's appropriate to the audience, the story behind Old Glory Bank. So as you said, careers take different paths. I am not a veteran, but have the utmost respect for those who do serve and have served. I've been in the financial technology and banking space, really the bulk of my career. As you noted, it goes back a while. The idea of Old Glory Bank, and we are an online full service online digital first bank, and we have customers in every state of the union. It is actually 122-year-old bank now. With the concept of Old Glory Bank, ended up pursuing and bought a bank in Oklahoma that was 120 years old, introduced digital banking that allowed us to open accounts clear across the country, and in about 18 months went from just several hundred customers to over 55,000 customers, every state of the union. And what made it so impactful was that we had a very powerful message that essentially decommoditized banking. People used to choose the bank that was closest to their home. And of course, with online banking, that's less relevant now. And so people now have the opportunity to select a bank that's closest to their identity or their values. And the story behind Old Glory Bank, I'm one of the co-founders. In fact, the inspiration for it came to me in the late 2020. I don't have to remind people too much. 2020 was a pretty tumultuous year. COVID, lockdowns, a lot of civil unrest. And in addition to seeing police be vilified for doing the great work that they do, and seeing the military not being shown the respect that I felt they were so deserving of, what really prompted things was just the flag and the anthem being denigrated, and the sports stars and teams kneeling and showing disrespect for what I thought was a very powerful symbol of our country. And I just got tired of yelling at the TV and being upset about where I was seeing things, and said, we need a bank out there that is pro-America, that supports our military and first responders, and that also fully honors the Constitution. And by that, I mean we resolve to our customers not to cancel them for their views or the industry they operate in. For instance, firearms, that's an area a lot of banks have a distaste over. And so the mission of Old Glory Bank was a very pro-America, pro-military and first responder concept. And I'll point out what really reinforced in our eyes that it was such a powerful message and focus was that very early on we attracted the attention of some very prominent patriots and people that I think the audience will be familiar with. In fact, two former presidential candidates are on our board. Secretary Ben Carson and Larry Elder, both are on our board. Country singer John Rich was one of my early co-founders who rallied behind what we are doing, and probably our most prolific spokesman out there, just speaking about Old Glory Bank and the message points. But Sean Spicer, former press secretary and a former veteran, Navy veteran, he is on our board as well. And just a lot of great folks. And we're out there really trying to, and I think quite successfully, we're pleased with the success we've had, promote the greatness of America and all these foundational elements of it, of which our military are such an important component. So a great fit. It's why we see a lot of value in supporting Opline's mission and the mission of helping veterans transition into private enterprises and the private economy. And I think it's just a great match for our organizations.
I love it, man. I love just the history of why you named the bank what you did. And again, as a guy that spent 25 years in the Marine Corps, and I was at a retiring ceremony just last week of a guy that spent 44 years in the Marine Corps, and to hear the national anthem played, and I was at 8th and I, so here in D.C., and there's something about Old Glory and seeing the flag and what that means to every veteran, and certainly to our country. And to name a bank after that for those reasons and to honor that, it means a lot, obviously. And it just I think it's it grounds what the bank is all about and what you're all about, and certainly makes it obvious to everyone that you put those veterans, you put those qualities that veterans bring to the table, that our first responders bring to the table, that this country is all about. You put that at the forefront, and I love to see that for sure. And obviously you do have. It's great to see that you do have veterans that are on the board that are involved with this and helping to guide the bank, forward and move forward. And it's great to see the growth that you've had. I mean, how are you connecting with veterans that are out there? What should veterans know about Old Glory Bank, and why should they come to you? Maybe that's the question I should ask you.
Sure. Yeah. No, happy to touch on that. And you're right. We have a number of our key executive team, our veterans, our CEO, Mike Ring, who's my initial partner with the bank. He is former Air Force. We've got another board member, Bennett Brown, who was in the Army. We've got our head of security, was also Army. Just great folks, and our compliance officer as well. So we've got some great folks on the team. And the one thing with Old Glory Bank that we set out to do, we didn't want to be what we call just grifters and kind of just wave the flag and kind of usurp that as a brand. I mean, as proud as we are of unabashedly being pro-America and pro-flag in that, we wanted it to be much deeper than that, because we felt that was just kind of too easy to just kind of wrap yourself in the flag. And by that, I mean, we really set out to walk the talk. And when we say that we're supportive of the military, of first responders, of veterans, we really do take some action that supports that. And a couple examples I think your audience would be interested in. One, first of all, if you're a veteran, we offer free premium checking. It's our interest-bearing checking account, completely free. Normally it's a $19 a month charge, and the primary benefit is that it offers interest, whereas the basic checking does not. Another great benefit that we do is within the app and among all of our broad audience of customers or community of customers, we have charitable roundups, which are a purely optional service or feature within our app. But if you'd like, you can turn it on and have your transactions round up to the next dollar. And the selected beneficiaries, there's a drop-down list, and there are several veterans-oriented causes that we raise money for. One is America's Vet Dogs. Another is we've got the American Vet Dogs. We have Operation Triage, and we have Code of Vets, and just a great Folds of Honor is another. So there are several great organizations that we support with our charitable roundups. And then thirdly, for veterans, and this is something that we identified and some people approached us, is sadly there's a homeless veteran community clear across the country. And one of the biggest challenges that any homeless person, but it's especially concerning when it's a veteran who did so much for us, one of the challenges, if you don't have a home, well, how can you really be banked? Because typically you need to demonstrate an address, you need to be able to receive mail, your debit card, those sorts of things. And so we have a special unit, and it's called Project McFadden, named after the father of one of our employees who suffered many decades from PTSD. And we have, with Project McFadden, we have a special unit that addresses homeless veterans in having a digital card, kind of a virtual card, so that they don't necessarily have to get a physical debit card. We waive the requirement of an actual residential address. You can use your Veteran Affairs office to be your designated address. access to ATMs that can be cardless and just using your mobile phone. So a number of things. And so we're just really trying to tangibly help veterans. I will say for active duty, it's worth noting we have something that the broader community, I think, gets really excited about, and that is Old Glory Protect. And what we call a protector is any branch of the service, including reserves and National Guard, and then also first responders, police, firefighters, including volunteer firefighters, and Border Patrol. So anyone in that broad audience that we call protectors, for free automatically as a customer of ours with doing just a basic level of direct deposit, those protectors who are customers of Old Glory Bank get a $100,000 line of duty death benefit for free. We pay the premium for that. And God forbid, should something happen to that individual in the line of duty, Old Glory Bank will have been paying or has been paying a premium for that benefit to their designated beneficiaries. So just an additional add-on. It's something that we incur ourselves, and our message to the broader community is to, why wouldn't you bank with the bank that protects those who protects you? And so that's just another way that we really try to deliver more than just a name and a brand, but really do some tangible things that others aren't out there doing.
That is awesome. And I honestly, I should have known all these things. I had no idea the breadth and depth of support y'all were providing at Old Glory Bank for our veterans and our first responders out there. I'm gonna connect you up with a few other organizations out there. The Travis Manion Foundation is one of my personal charities. Travis
Excellent.
is one of my Marines that was killed by a sniper in Iraq, and they do some great things. And another one, America's Warrior Partnership, that I think you could join up with and help a lot of folks, homeless veterans in particular. There's a lot of folks that need a lot of help out there, and love to see y'all leading from the front in a lot of these things and doing things because it's the right thing to do, and to help out the community. I mean, again, that's obviously what the core embodies what Old Glory Bank is about, is doing the right thing for those folks that are, out there taking care of our country every day, which is awesome. I believe I'm correct in asking this question or saying this. You also have programs to support veteran-owned small businesses. Is that accurate? Do you work with veteran-owned small businesses as well?
We do. That's one of the things that I love to point out with Old Glory Bank is people are passionate about coming to bank with us because they see that, for those who we're aligned with in terms of just values and the things that matter and that whole mission that I just described about Old Glory Bank, it goes much farther than that, in that I love to point out we have phenomenal technology, products, and customer service. I put our mobile and online banking experience up against B of A, Chase, Citi. I mean, extremely robust tools for individuals as well as businesses. And that's the one thing that particularly small businesses really get caught in this gap, where they tend to not get the attention of the big banks, let's say, just to put it mildly. Smaller business accounts aren't what get, the big mega banks excited. People tend to, therefore, bank with community banks, which are great and very supportive, but they tend to not have the level of products and technology that the mega banks have, just because of sheer investment dollars. I mean, a B of A invests billions of dollars a year in technology. Naturally, your local community bank with a few branches just doesn't have that kind of a budget. And that's something where, particularly for business banks, they have some pretty robust needs. Small businesses have some pretty robust needs. And that's something where Old Glory Bank really brings what I would say is the best of both of those worlds, where it's really the close connection and feel of a community bank, but the technology and service of and support of a mega bank. And we have domestic customer support. It's all onshore. Of course, we've got, U.S., American-based customer service. And not only does that support the domestic economy, it also is something our customers really appreciate, just because they don't encounter any kind of challenges with communication and so forth. So as far as small businesses, as I said, we've got great technology, really good support, and even for those smaller accounts that I think a lot of the banks don't pay attention to.
Well, it's great to hear, because being in the veteran transition space as I am, so many veterans start their own businesses when they get out of the military, and if you look around the country, how many companies that are big name countries now, I mean, look at a FedEx or a Nike, I mean, their founders were veterans, right? It's pretty amazing to see that started from small business ideas. And you're right, I think the small businesses, we call them vetrepreneurs, right? Those veteran entrepreneurs out there, it's hard to get started out there, and a lot of times they can't break squelch with the big banks a lot of times, but to know there's an Old Glory bank out there that can, provide the service, the same level of service as a big bank, but maybe be a little more personal to a veteran in particular, means a lot. And I love to hear
Sure.
that, and certainly love to hear the opportunities. And again, I know one of the things we hope to work and continue to work with Old Glory on is not only to help Old Glory Bank find talent that you may need, veteran talent, but also if you have small businesses that you're working with, to help them find talent. And some of the initiatives that we're working on and partnering with Opline and Old Glory Bank to be able to use that. Not only can you help them get the loan, you can help them find people too. They work together
That's
and
right.
make this ecosystem come together. It's a great thing. And again, and a big need. Again, I think it's for those small businesses out there, those so many veteran-owned businesses, to get the backing, but also to find the people and to bring all that together in a one-stop shop is something that's hard to come by. And again, love what you're doing out there, and need to make sure we get the word out there more. And hopefully this podcast.
I love the opportunity to talk about it. We do a lot. One of the primary needs beyond just an operating checking and savings accounts for small businesses is access to credit. Obviously, is very important in getting a business going, and we have a very robust, active SBA loan group that is very good at consulting with prospects and customers of ours to see what they might qualify for in terms of access to SBA loans, which makes it easier for us to support earlier stage businesses. And I'll also point out, a lot of people, I think by now, most people have experienced and do probably most, if not all, of their financial service interaction online or over their phone. And so the concept of mobile banking, especially since COVID, is more and more accepted. But I would love to point out and want to take the opportunity to point out, probably the one question people ask in terms of a perceived gap with online banking is, okay, it's great, my mobile app, I can move money around, pay bills, transfer funds, check on activity, I can take a photo of a check to deposit, but what about cash? And whether you're an individual or a small business that deals with cash, that's kind of the one gap. You can't shove cash into your phone, so what do you do? And that's something that we solved because we have only one branch, yet customers in every state of the union, one physical branch. We solved for that cash issue, and it's a service we call Cash In. It's completely free if you're depositing $200 or more, and you can walk into any of 88,000 retail locations clear across the country. I mean, big box places that are, the kinds of Walmarts and Walgreens and CVS and Publix and Kroger and those types of institutions or retail environments clear across the country to where you can make a cash deposit just by scanning your mobile app. They do that at the counter, and instantly you get access to that cash should you want to access it right away. It just takes seconds. We really solve for all the way down to the last need a business or an individual might have with their banking requirements.
I love that. My wife makes fun of me for always having cash on hand. She never has any, but when you need it, you need it. I'm telling you. So that's a great service.
That's right. Yeah.
A little
well,
old school.
And people make money on the weekends maybe, or if they're a server or you have customers, cash based. ATMs pretty much solved the disbursement for everyone, but that cash in
deposit
requirement is really something unique that we figured out.
That's pretty sweet. Well, I'm excited too. July, obviously, as we come up to the end of the month, is National Hire a Veteran Month as well. And again, I one of the reasons we wanted to bring on Old Glory Bank in July and talk about some of the things you're doing for our veteran population is to honor that as well. And it's great having worked with your team. I know that you do look for and target and try to hire our veterans and military spouses and make a coordinated effort to do that, which is great to see. Again, I'm looking forward to using this podcast to get the word out there to more veterans and first responders about what you're doing and what differentiates your bank from others. Because again, I think there's something the name maybe isn't as well known as it should be in the veteran ecosystem, but hopefully this podcast will do a little bit to get the word out there, and certainly look forward to working with your team some more to share the great things that you're doing and to sharing the information again, about the services you're providing out there. But we'd love to, as we kind of close things out, what do you want to leave people with about if they want to learn more about Old Glory Bank? I mean, I'm sure they can just go online and Google it up, and where do we take this, and what do we leave with our audience today?
Sure. First of all, whoever is listening, if you're an employer, I certainly encourage you to continue to look to the veteran community as a source of new hires. There's such a long list of value that's brought by someone who has served in terms of commitment and dedication, not being afraid of hard work, collaboration, working with others. I mean, there's so many great things. So I would certainly want to make sure that gets reiterated to anyone who's looking to hire. As to the bank, we are fully accessible to anyone with a laptop, access to the internet, or their mobile phone. oldglorybank.com. You can learn a lot there. I think people will be really impressed when they see just how much is offered, really see the kind of online and digital banking experience you can have at Old Glory Bank. And we couldn't be happier by the number of people who have been coming on and really voting with their feet, voting with their dollars, and recognizing why, essentially demonstrate support for our first responders, for our military, for our veterans. And why not go with an organization that doesn't hate you, that completely does the opposite, that actually supports the things that you support, values the Constitution, values the flag, our anthem, and those sorts of things. And so we, again, just are so blessed to have a lot of people continue to come and join us as customers. You actually can be an investor as well. That's something else to point out. You can learn about it at our website. But we've just excited about the opportunity to work with Opline, and so pleased that we have found some great ways to support the veteran community in some tangible ways. And so I certainly appreciate you helping us get that word out.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you for the time. It's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot, and look forward to getting the word out there to our veteran community about what y'all are doing, and it can continue wish you the best and continued growth, and keep on leading from the front, because you're definitely making an impact and making a difference, and really putting your money where your mouth is when it comes to supporting our veteran community. So thanks again, Eric. I appreciate the time today.
Excellent. Sure thing. Thank you.